Paramam, Supreme, Goyam, confidential subject, Adhyatma, spiritual, Samhitam, in the matter of Yat, what, Twa, Ayu, Uktam, said, Vacha, words, Tena, by that, Moha, illusion, Ayam, this, Vigata, is removed, Mama, mine. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Arjun said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. Please repeat after me. Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about this most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. Purport. Please listen carefully. This chapter reveals Krishna as the cause of all causes. He is even the cause of the Mahavishnu, from whom the material universes emanate. Krishna is not an incarnation. He is the source of all incarnations. That has been completely explained in the last chapter. Now, as far as Arjuna is concerned, he says that his illusion is over. This means that Arjuna no longer thinks of Krishna as a mere human being, as a friend of his, but as a source of everything. Arjuna is very enlightened and is glad that he has such a great friend as Krishna. But now he is thinking that although he may accept Krishna as a source of everything, others may not. So in order to establish Krishna's divinity for all, he is requesting Krishna in this chapter to show his universal form. Actually, when one sees the universal form of Krishna, one becomes frightened like Arjuna. But Krishna is so kind that after showing it, he converts himself again into his original form. Arjuna agrees to what Krishna has several times said. Krishna is speaking to him just for his benefit. So Arjuna acknowledges that all this is happening to him by Krishna's grace. He is now convinced that Krishna is a cause of all causes and is present in everyone's heart as the Super Soul. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamayam Dadati Sopadantikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Prabhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurame Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sukhe Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpanubhyascha Kripa Sindhavyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, this is the first sloka of this chapter. So let us go back a little bit and go through the spiritual topics which Arjuna is mentioning. He has mentioned that by hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects. So, let us just summarize a little bit. Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 main sections, each of 6 chapters. Chapters 1 to 6 basically talks about Karma Yoga. Chapter 7 to 12 talks about Bhakti Yoga. 13 to 18 talks about Jnana Yoga. The middle 6 chapters from 7 to 12 are called the essence of Gita. The middle 6 chapters are called the essence of Gita. And in the essence of the essence means the middle of the 6 slokas, which is 9 and 10. Chapters 9 and 10. Therefore, at the end of chapter 9, slok 9.34, the last slok of chapter 9, he says, engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. That is the instructions which Bhagavan has given at the end of chapter 9. All this knowledge has accumulated from chapter 2 onwards. This sloka's instruction is extremely powerful. And that is why it is repeated. Bhagavan repeats the same sloka in 1865. In sloka, right at the end, Bhagavan again repeats the same sloka, saying that is the importance of the sloka. Hare Krishna. The chapter 9, Lord Krishna has imparted, till chapter 9, Krishna has imparted 3 levels of knowledge, which we have explained many times. First one is confidential knowledge, which is covered in chapters 2 and 3, which talks about the difference between the body and the soul. Difference between material and spiritual. So that is the first topic. That is the first topic which has been covered in chapters 2 to 3. Then there is more confidential knowledge, which is stated in chapters 7 and 8. It's the knowledge of the Absolute and how to attain the Supreme. I.e., there is the knowledge of Bhakti. Then, most confidential knowledge stated in chapter 9 to convert this knowledge into realization. That is the most important part. Having acquired the knowledge, you need to progress further to realize Bhagavan. Right? Knowing which you will be relieved of miseries of material existence. Then in 9.4, then there are various slokas which states where is Krishna able to be found, or what he says. So in 9.4 he says, by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So he is exercising his position, that in all these places I am to be found. All the beings are in me, but I am not in them. Then in 9.5 he says, and yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, he's still stressing that he is found everywhere. I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation. Then in 9.7 he says, O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature. And at the beginning of another millennium, by my potencies, I create them all. So here again is emphasizing that he is the source of creating and snatching them back. Then in chapter 10, we have the Chatusloki Gita, 4 verses Gita from 10.8 to 10.11. In 10.8, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Again, he is emphasizing that he is to be found everywhere. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Thereafter, from 10.20 to 10.39, a list of 82 opulences are given by Krishna. This reflects only the prominent ones, as the opulences are limitless. To assist in thinking of Krishna at all times, we can visualize Krishna through his creations. So, the sloka of 9.34 says, always think of me. And how to think of him? It might be very difficult to just say, oh, Krishna is there, Krishna is there. So, but here 82 opulences have been given to focus your attention to the prominent ones and think that is Krishna. It cannot be anything else but Krishna. Though he is found everywhere, we are still now concentrating on a few because our minds are not capable of understanding. Everything created is the manifestation of Krishna's energy. Krishna exists in each and every atom. Krishna is the cause of all causes. That is why in this chapter it says, this chapter reveals Krishna as a cause of all causes. Everything which you see, touch, feel, everything is Krishna. He is the creator, he is the cause of all causes. That understanding has slowly accumulated from chapter 2 onwards till the 10th chapter. As Krishna says in 10.42, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Again, the whole emphasis in all these slokas is he is present everywhere. That is why Arjuna says in this sloka 11.1, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. That is the whole idea. That he is stating that his illusion is all been dispelled. Krishna, then this sloka continues and says, Krishna is the cause of Mahavishnu. We had gone there, it was beautiful explained yesterday how Krishna expands himself. Krishna expands, first expansion is through Balram. From Balram, 4 expansions take place. They are Vasudeva, Shakasan, Pradyuman and Anirudh. Krishna expands into Balram, Balram expands into these 4 Vasudeva, Sankarsan, Pradyuman and Anirudh. From Sankarsan, it expands further. It expands into Narayan. And from Narayan again, 4 expansions take place. They are Vasudeva again, same names, Vasudeva, Sankarsan, Pradyuman and Anirudh. And then Sankarsan expands further into Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu breathes out innumerable universes. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu enters into each individual universe, and from his navel, Brahma is being created. Shirodaya Dakshaya Vishnu enters into each and every atom. So this sloka mentions he is even the cause of Mahavishnu. So that is a extended expansion of Krishna. From Krishna to Balram to these various expansions into Mahavishnu, from Mahavishnu into Garbhodaya Vishnu, then Shirodaya Dakshaya Vishnu. All these are expansions. And in each and every one of us, he's stating that I enter into each and every atom. So Krishna is everywhere. Okay? Some people consider an ordinary person to be God. Right? This is a continuing of the sloka here. Some people consider an ordinary person to be God, while others consider God to be an ordinary person. Some people consider an ordinary person to be God, while others consider God to be an ordinary person. That's why in 9.11, Krishna says, "Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that be." So, in this sloka, but in Arjuna's case, he no longer thinks of Krishna as a mere human being, as a friend of his, but as the source of everything, because he has become enlightened. His doubts have been dispelled. He has understood all the spiritual subjects which have been spoken about. During the Gita, Arjuna has asked 16 questions. And when he comes to chapter 11, he's asking the 10th question, which will come in 2 slokas from now. In 11.3, he's asking to please show me your universal form. So all these questions have been answered very nicely by Krishna, and those answers are helping Arjuna to dispel all his doubts about the matters which is there. And he now considers Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. But in order to establish Krishna's divinity for all, he is requesting Krishna to show his universal form. Not for himself. He has already understood. He has understood that Krishna is the Supreme. But there might be people in the future, because we are living under Kali Yuga at the moment. And there are a lot of people who consider themselves to be God. So this universal form which Arjuna is asking to be seen, to be shown by Krishna, is for the benefit for future generations for himself. In the 10th chapter, Arjuna had an audio description of 82 opulences. Now Arjuna is asking for a visual or a video description. So that will be described in time to come when we go through the slokas. Then the same question then Bhagwan asks in 1872, almost at the end of the Gita. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And have your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? So again Bhagwan is confirming. Here he says, my doubts have been cleared. But still, at the end of the 18th chapter, almost at the end of the 18th chapter, Bhagwan is reconfirming. Have your doubts been dispelled? Arjuna says, my illusion is gone. I will regain my memory with your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt. So his doubts have been completely clear at the end. Even here, they have been clear. But he had to show for the benefits of others. So to understand the universal form, the whole description is given, the whole chapter is there, but it is as if you take the case of waves in the ocean. The waves are formed in the ocean, Where are the waves? In the ocean. They rest in the ocean, means they are there for some time. Then they subside. All that thing happens within the ocean. Similarly, material world is manifested, stays for some time, then material world unmanifest. So this process is carried out by the universal form of God. And it shows that in that form, each and every atom, Krishna is responsible for the creation, maintenance and annihilation of that form. So it is not a form, eternal form of Krishna. It is a temporary form which has been manifested, it stays and then becomes unmanifested. So that is how the universal form is to be looked at. Right? So it says, finally we have seen that Krishna is all pervading. I hope you have all accepted that. He is in each and every atom. God is physically next to you. If you say He is in each and every atom, God is here, God is here, God is here. God is in fact inside you. If you were not there, if Bhagavan was not there as Paramatma within you as well, you would be walking with a dead body. That is, I believe, one of the biggest vibhutis which we have. Right? But God is physically next to you. In fact, He is within you. So no need to travel to see God. But to see God, you have to remove ignorance and study the Gita and other scriptures. That will enlighten you, just as it did for Arjuna. Right? And once a person came to Prabhupada and said, I follow all the 4 regulative principles. What are the 4 regulative principles? No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit relationship. And he said, since I am following all this, I should be considered as a devotee. Prabhupada said, now you have become a man, right? And can start the process of becoming a devotee. So you have to meet the initial criteria in order to start becoming a devotee. Then all these things will be revealed to you. Krishna says, I give you that ability to remember me. So first of all, become a devotee. Go through this regular principle. A, B, C, D of ISKCON teachings, association, books, chanting, right? So let us all make our lives successful. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? Okay. Granth Raj Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.